Season 2, Episode 2, Go West, Tiny Viking. Hey Vikings viewers, this is Devorah Roberts, video producer of the Towerlight.
And I'm Abby Murphy, photo editor at the Towerlight.
And let's get right into the review.
Okay, wow, this wasn't as intensive an episode as I anticipated, but coming off the high from the end of the episode, they managed to do it well, so that
Really?
they managed to do it so you leave the episode feeling excited about the next one, but the rest of the episode kind of dragged this week.
Especially after last episode with Lagartha and Bjorn going, I felt for the first 30 minutes of, so for the first 10 minutes I was okay because I was like, thought we were gonna get somewhere. And then the next 30 minutes I was actually pretty like, I don't know what's going on. It's just been very exposition heavy, very dialogue heavy. There was at least two prophecies, or if not prophecies, there was the prophecy from Aslog, and then there was what the Oracle or the Seer said to
about Ragnar's son. Spoiler alert, your sons will be more famous than you. Check the sagas.
Sucks to suck.
But yeah, I mean, considering we begin the episode with a dramatic 4 years later, I was kind of expecting to see more changes. Really just means that Aslog has like a lot of kids.
I think she only has 2, but she's gonna have a 3rd on the way.
Just 3 on the way, that's a lot in like a 4-year time period. Like,
so, I mean, I grew up in an Orthodox Jewish family, so it's really not.
Well, yeah, but still, like, that's a
and
lot.
Especially like, Lagartha had 2, 3 isn't that much.
Yeah, I suppose. It just seems like a lot from a character we just met.
Right.
That's something I've really been disappointed about with Aslog so far, is I really want to get to know her character, because I'm like adamantly defending her, but I don't really know much about her at this point. She's kind of, I'll be interested to see where it goes with Siggy, because this episode.
Yeah, because they formed a friendship rivalry, one of the two with Siggy. So that could be something interesting that could happen. Maybe we'll get to see more of them because of stuff. And see, because Siggy obviously is not very happy with her position right now and wants to move back to where Aslog is right now. Even Aslog said that to herself when they were talking. So
it's very interesting. This episode definitely set up a lot of different kind of dynamics with characters and where the relationships may or may not be going. Like Siggy and Rollo's relationship was really interesting this episode. Rollo.
Let's talk about Rollo.
Rollo has fallen on hard times. I made a little Rollo at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, so the first time we see Rollo this episode, he's just kind of in the dirt, and Siggy's going and waking him up. And I just had a really big problem with this, because last episode, Rollo was gung-fu fighting, gung-ho fighting against Ragnar, being like, no, I'm not accepting him as my leader.
4 years later.
And then 4 years later, he's just kind of in the dirt, and I understand that he had, like, a falling, like, he realized in episode 1 that he was all like, it's okay, this is wrong, I'm not gonna fight my brother. But I just feel, I don't really see the connection between the Rollo we see in this episode and the Rollo we saw in the first episode.
Especially Ragnar's treatment of him. Like, you would think because his brother did he gave up everything for him, and haven't really seen that reciprocated, and I think it's definitely, the relationship is really strained right now. And then, we got him throwing rocks at the boats.
Because Ragnar didn't let him go west. Because they're going west again after 4 years.
It does feel nice.
It does. I like the boats. I like seeing the boats again. And we got to see Floki again. We didn't talk about Floki last review, except for how he got impaled and stuff. But hey, Floki's back in his element.
Definitely.
And go on to Ragnar like, I
build boats, Ragnar. You're the navigator.
And then Ragnar goes all, yeah. And I was like, friends!
It was a nice moment. There were a few really nice moments this episode, but mostly towards the end I felt, because, I don't think it was familiar territory. It's familiar territory, but not in like an overused way. It was exciting.
It was a nice parallel from last season, because I think season 1 was also the time we first go west.
Yeah, because it was just like, that was the whole first part. It was like going west, and it was so nice, and then it got all dramatic, and then one of the major flaws of this episode for sure was the fact that
it took so long to get to the west.
It took so long to get west, although those last minutes were awesome. I'll talk about those, but
later.
Before I get there, there was definitely a noticeable hole in the show without Lagartha.
Yeah, we don't have Lagartha and Bjorn, and I don't think we realized how much Lagartha and Ragnar's relationship with each other drove the episode so much, because Ragnar was doing this for his family. He was doing this because he wanted to see his family grow and prosper. And it's just, so all we get this episode is Ragnar and Aslog's relationship. So let's talk about that really quickly.
Yeah, their relationship,
it's weird.
It's weird. I mean, I didn't expect it to be like the Gartha and Ragnar's at all. They were definitely more kind of equals. They were both warriors. And Aslick's definitely kind of feeling more. She's a princess. She was born, well, different circumstances, but she's still of that kind of noble blood.
So she's not really a shield maiden.
She's not. She's telling people to make her food and all this stuff, and that's to be respected in its own way. But at the same time, it's just their chemistry isn't definitely.
It's very frigid, very strained. The scenes that we got with them in the beginning were off somehow. We just got Ragnar continually talking to the child within her and not really to Aslog. He was kind of just like, I'm not flirting with other women, calm down, woman.
Yeah, that really bothered me because
he was drunk. I'll give him that.
He was drunk. He was very drunk. Vikings problems. But yeah, it just didn't really sit well with me the way he was. Yeah. He definitely seems to see her
as a baby carrier.
Yeah. I mean, and I understand that. That's definitely
he goes to Aslog in the first place because
he wants his sons.
Because Lagartha only had Gyda and Bjorn, but we can also see that Ragnar really misses Bjorn this episode.
It was really sad.
Yeah,
he kind of had this kind of melancholic, kind of just sad look when he was looking at his other son, whose name I didn't quite catch.
I don't know, but I just keep calling him Baby Viking, even though there's other baby Vikings.
And baby goats. Okay, we did mention this last episode. There was one baby goat. There was one baby goat. Ragnar has an endless supply of baby goats. I'm convinced.
We're convinced. He cuddles them when he doesn't have enough love and cries to them about Bjorn and Lagartha and all this shit he screwed up.
Yeah, it's his own fault.
Excuse my language.
Don't, it's Ragnar. Don't apologize.
Yeah. I think that's all we have on Ragnar and Aslog and Rollo. Let's talk about what really named this episode for us. Athelstan! Hi! We haven't seen you in like a couple episodes. Episode 9, you were kind of season 1, you were just kind of...
He was kind of dying.
Yeah.
And then he didn't die and it was good.
But Gyda did, and then he was sad.
And then it was really sad, and then Theory died, and that was also really sad, and I'm really emotional about it.
And now this episode, we see him, he's assimilated from monk to Viking. Holy...
That acting.
It's really weird because you can tell his body language and his emotions have changed completely.
He's a lot sharper and just he's not an outsider anymore. He is to an extent, but he's an outsider within the society instead of an outsider outside.
It's also his body language is more open. Like when he was in the black robe, you saw he was a lot more like close to himself. He kept close. He was like, "Don't touch me." And now he's kind of just like leaning on the boat, being like, "What's up, Ragnar? I'm your bro, right?"
Yeah, and he's got his awesome like armor suit thing.
Got his shield.
He's got his shield, and I honestly didn't know what I was expecting. Like he's on my like Vikings fantasy league and stuff, but I wasn't sure how well he was gonna do in battle. To be honest,
he did real well. Let me tell you.
Oh my god, I was like. Oh, you're covered in blood very fast.
I don't even know what started. At first he was just behind the shield wall, and then he's just BAM!
His little axe. He literally is the tiny Viking because
he's so tiny. Especially the training scene between him and
Ragnar.
Ragnar's like this really muscular dude, and then
there's 5'9".
5 foot, and like and they're like fighting.
But he has a different style in that respect. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Floki, but Floki's actually ridiculously tall. We just can't actually see how tall
he just
is. He slouches. But he definitely fights differently, and he saved Ragnar at one point during battle when they finally got to Wessex. Super excited about the Old English. I understood some of it. Urda Kuninga. Yeah.
I don't know what it means.
Kings, our king.
King? Our king?
Yeah, Kuninga. Probably not saying it right, but it was really exciting. It was a really exciting moment with Athelstan acting as kind of like the translator talking.
Which was really cool. I'm really excited for Athelstan's new position actually, because we get to see more of him. We get to see more of him interacting with the Viking, and we get to see him like being accepted by the Vikings. But I'm pretty sure this isn't gonna last very long, especially from where he started. I don't think this is gonna last long at all.
It's just you still got that feeling when they did see Lance the first time. You saw the look on his face, and that's the first time he's been to England.
It's like
home.
5 years.
5 years, and he's with all these strange people. He was forced to assimilate, if he wanted to survive. And I'm conflicted. So at the end of this episode, there's a really big moment where he got his first arm ring from Ragnar, and I was really emotional, and then had to explain to you.
I've read Beowulf like 2 times, but I never picked up on the arm ring
it's
thing.
a really big deal in like that society, in a warrior society, to be given that. It's really emotional moment. Really emotional. I think it kind of just shows that Ragnar finally accepts him, which is something that Athelstan's been striving for. But I'm not sure that should be what he's striving for. I'm not sure it's best for Athelstan.
Yeah, especially when he was a monk, and this wasn't really what he was going into.
Yeah, but he was kind of forced to change, and I think it's led some cool things, but also, like, I just want him to be okay and happy and safe and not die, preferably.
Let me just talk about the cinematography of this episode really quick,
Yeah.
because it was gorgeous. I forgot how pretty those sailing shots were. Like, it like panned a bit across, and there was these boats, and it was so pretty, and the sea was so pretty. Oh, and a shout out to the beginning theme, which has changed a little since last season. Gorgeous. Wow.
Just like, oh, every time
So
you're
pretty.
so awesome.
I just stop sometimes in these episodes and go, pretty, so pretty.
There was a lot of pretty this
Just
episode.
a lot of pretty, especially during the forest scenes, because the lighting changed so much. It was such contrast. It was great.
Maidens. There were shield maidens.
Shield maidens, so cool. I hope we get to learn more about them and see more about them, and I hope that Lagartha eventually just has a whole mini army of shield maidens to lead and like conquer like Vikings again.
Yeah, I just want Lagartha to come back. That was the only thing really disappointing about this time jump, because it's like you see like, okay, a baby that wasn't born is now like a toddler. Okay, exciting, but Bjorn.
I was expecting to see Bjorn and as Kato from the Hunger Games. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I only know you by Kato. It's the Hunger Games.
Alexander Ludwig.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be great. I'm really
He was live
excited to
tweeting
see
this
you.
episode. It was fun.
Yeah, I was just really expecting to see that. I wasn't expecting to stay so static this episode. Like, there was definitely a lot of information, and I don't think we covered everything quite, but that's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. Again, just emotional state. Athelstan's still very emotional about him, but
yeah, what would you give this episode?
this episode, I just want to give it a C. Cause the end,
The end was so good. Yeah, I think I'll give it a B minus.
B minus.
Because it was a really good episode at the end, and that's what's really shifting me. And there was a lot of good information and a lot of good relationship things that we had to learn. It's obviously a build-up episode. This was definitely something I expected more from the pilot episode than I would, or not the pilot episode, but like the season opener episode.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why they didn't do it that way.
Yeah.
The really exciting stuff the first act, but this was just definitely building stuff up for later in the season. So I'll be curious to see where it goes.
So yeah, that's it for us.
Yeah.
Comment below, tell us what you thought.
Tweet
tell
at
us about anything we missed. Tweet us at TowerlightVideo.
Yep.
Follow us on TowerlightVideo and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can see more. And watch out for next week's episode. And if you missed last week's, watch that one also. All right. See you guys.
Bye.